Hey, Stephanie. How's everybody doing? Good.
I'm doing pretty well.
Nice. We'll wait one more minute, have people come on here. And then we'll get started.
Hey.
Hello. Alrighty, we'll get started. So I'll just go down the list. Everybody talk about their accountability, appointments, contracts, contacts. First person, let's start with Avery. How's it going, Avery? Oh, I think you're muted. Or at least I can't hear you.
He's muted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes. How's it
All right,
going?
cool. Yeah, so I didn't reach out to anybody this morning, but I have been sealing up with my wife 250 mail drops. So that's what we were doing this morning, all about collecting database today.
Awesome. I love it. Let's see here. Stephanie? How's it going with you?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Talked to two people since yesterday's class. I did run into some technological issues this morning with my import of my contact list. So I'm gonna try that again. I think I had something in my header row maybe that I had messed up. So I'll try that again. But other than that, I listened to the State of the Industry this morning. It's my first one. I got to listen to it live. That was great. Took away a few tips and tricks from that. And then also wrote down the podcast that they referenced, and as I'm trying to listen to a podcast at least once every other week. So
Perfect. Awesome. And if you do need help with those contacts as well, Mara's office hours are at 4. and I can always help you import those and see if it's like a command error or if it's, we can just figure it out.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's see here. How about Christina? You want to go?
Hi,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you? I missed last week's class. I apologize. I had there was another thing I had to handle in the middle of that one. So it's going well. I'm just working on my my contacts, just getting everything back. I've been with Keller Williams for, I'm sorry, my puppy is like on the table. Yeah, so I've been with Keller Williams for about a year and a half. And it hasn't been what I wanted it to be. So back in Ignite to just reignite my passion. So is that what we're going over? Just kind of like where we're at?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm in Bend as well, so it's cool to see
I
someone
would love
else.
to be with you.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so how about Chelsea?
Hello. So yesterday I went, met with my clients at the title company. They signed their closing documents. So on my first close, on my first listing here, so that's exciting. Today is their official closing day. So yesterday was pretty much just spent wrapping everything up, finishing up any questions that they had. Today I took down my sign in my lockbox, and so far I haven't made any new contacts outside this transaction, but I sent my thank yous to everybody that was involved, lended, my appreciation out, so everyone knew that I was appreciative, and just kind of like made those contacts. So I have a list of all the other lovely things I need to do today, but that's pretty much as far as I've gotten, just kind of taking a breather now that I got the first one under my belt. So that was pretty exciting.
Congrats. That's amazing. You're killing it. Great. So let's see. Debbie, do you want to go?
So last night I made some phone calls, and a couple of them took a while because there are people I haven't talked to for a long time. So we talked about real estate and what the market's doing and all that. And then, so I added a couple people to my database. This morning I listened to the state of the industry as well, which was great. They had some great information on communication and the importance of that. And got my MLS stuff all set up and my realtor association set up.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. How about Corin? Are you there?
Physically, maybe not mentally, but hello everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I've been in Zooms all day, so my brain's like 100 different places, but they've all been good, so that's awesome. Accountability check-in, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yesterday I texted probably about 5 or 10 people because I've found that you get a much better response with text than calls, and you can do it way quicker. Initially you can kind of can the text versus and then make it personal once they respond. So that's my preferred method. And honestly, I've gotten a much better response doing that than trying to call people. Actually, have people say, don't call me. They don't like it. So anyway, I've been doing that and then Zoom calls most of today and working on the 10 buyers I have and trying to sell the one seller that I have listed.
Good. Killing it as well. Dustin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been putting contacts in command. I've been texting, like Corin said, to a bunch of people. It seems to be a little bit easier. You get a little bit more done, and then you can follow up with the ones that actually follow back pretty easily. I've been working with this morning with a new buyer slash seller, so that'll be nice. And just getting all of Gmail and everything set up so that we can use our Relocate PDX email, but it still syncs with Gmail and all that good stuff. So all kinds of fun.
Great. Jeff?
Yeah, Zoe and I, it's slow and steady, I would say. We've got 5 more contacts entered in. As we said last time, our business cards should arrive next week, which we're excited about. And then as a team, we've been slowly working through the difficulties of personalizing your marketing profile as a team. We're very close to solving that, which we're excited about. those of you that were on the State of the Industry, they recommended the Ben Kinney signups as well. That was today from 12 to 1, and I have to say it was fantastic. So check out their YouTube channel. Great scripts and just really great ways to talk to people about real estate. So check that out later on. And I think it's probably going to be on their YouTube channel. I'll just throw that out there to help others too.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you. Awesome. Let's go. How about Julie?
Hi there. So
Hey.
yeah, so this morning I just spent time following up with some of my buyers, and that was pretty much how I spent the morning till now.
That's a good morning. I like it.
Yeah, that was it.
Awesome. How about Kel? Are you there?
Sorry.
Hey.
Yeah, I was actually this morning a little bit busy, but I was actually following up with some, actually 4 buyers I have right now. I follow it up with them. And one of the buyers, actually the buyer plus seller, and we getting ready for selling his property soon. So I'm working with this morning.
Perfect. Alicia?
Hi. So I've added 2 contacts in. I reached out to probably 3 or 4 people yesterday that I had to leave voicemails for, so I'm hoping to hear back from them. And then I'm also working on setting up a content calendar for like my social media and my business page and getting that all dialed in, as that's going to be one of my sources for my business, for generating leads and whatnot. So that's where I'm at, is getting out what days I want to do what.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, my list keeps changing, so if I forget anyone, let me know. But let's go with Tori. Are you there, Tori?
Bye. I love you too. Sorry, I am here. My buyer had some quick questions because I just walked through the house the other day, and there's a repair going on in the middle of what we're all doing. So he asked some questions. But I spent, I guess since the last time we met, some time doing the Mission 2. So I'm 78% done with my white pages, or whatever that's called. I made a post on my Facebook page and I've gotten some interaction with that. I also woke up and there was 30 new people following my Facebook page. So I was like, okay, I probably need to post and like say hi to all these people. So
congrats, that's awesome.
And then I also put, yesterday was all about like Facebook and connecting that way. So I really kind of dived into that. And so I've started doing the voice messages. So like an initial message just by voice. And I've had 100% like success rate with that as far as getting people to talk back to me. So connected with 10 people today that way. Talked about real estate naturally with all of them, and got more information about a person who is looking to buy in the fall, and I got their contact information and shared some loan officer information with them. So starting to work on that, which is exciting. Yeah.
Super. Good job. All right, Kelly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I never know with my AirPods. I used to have issues with them, but I seem to have figured it out. So I guess I'm just working on, I just switched over brokerages less than a month ago, so I'm still getting all of my setup done. But I have 2 in escrow that I'm kind of knee deep in HOA docs today. And then I had a lender meeting, lunch with my lender to go over a buyer class that we're going to be putting together, and just kind of starting to get systems in place and working on trying to find non-existent properties for buyers.
I like your cat too.
Oh, thank you. He's insatiable.
Tyler.
Yeah. Okay, cool. My mic is still working. I have two mics and this one was up, so it threw me off.
How's it going?
I am doing all right. I have been working super early all week, so I'm just been trying to stay awake in classes and stuff like that. But I have gotten a little bit done. I have contacted some people and I've got a couple calls scheduled for tomorrow to talk some more with some folks. One of them is somebody I used to go to high school with. I've been talking with him for a while. And then another guy is somebody who works for some sort of lead generation software. I don't know, like a lot of people have been reaching out to me about that kind of stuff. I'm always a little skeptical, but maybe there's value in some of that. I don't know yet. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Oh, I did reach out to some other people that I know. Not a lot today though, because I've been at work all day. And yeah.
Good.
What else? There was something else, but I'm not remembering it. Oh, I haven't contacted a lot of people today, but I talked to my boss about real estate and I gave him a business card.
Ooh, there you go. Like that. Awesome. Sweet. Tanea, am I saying that right?
You are, yes. I'm doing well. I just got into Command this morning. Showed a couple of houses earlier this week, and I have my first buyers in escrow today.
Yay! Yeah. Awesome. That is super, super exciting. Okay, I think, let's see here. Julie, are you there?
Yeah, you already did me.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sweet. I think that's it. Anyone else that I'm forgetting? Okay, perfect. So let me see. Aubrey, are you there? Yes, you are. So this is Aubrey Martin. She will be the instructor today for Build Your Business. She is an award-winning CEO with Keller Williams Sunset Corridor. Her specialty is first-time home buyers and hyper-local market analysis. She works in all price points with both buyers and sellers. She is an extraordinary trainer, and we love having her every quarter teach Ignite. Aubrey, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. Hi. So I think the thing that I always like to start by saying is that, I've only been licensed since July of 2017. Last year, so for 2020, I closed 60 units. And when I came into real estate, I had just moved back to Oregon after not being here for 13 years. So I like to this is called Build Your Business, but the little asterisk underneath it is how to build your business when you have no sphere. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. I've been where you are incredibly recently, and I'm a solo agent. So I'm not head of a team. I have incredible admin support, but there is no secret sauce. But I'm going to share with you some of the ingredients anyway.
We're super excited. Awesome. And then just so that you guys are aware, I'm going to put the feedback form in the chat bar right now. And Aubrey, you need those to be filled out, correct? Because of the KW.
I would love that because I am on master faculty, and I would love if you would do the feedback forms because I need them in order to sort of progress into the next level of things.
Yeah, so I will put the link in the chat bar, and then I will also, through Mara's email, I'll email it out to you guys as well. So if for some reason this chat disappears or something, you'll definitely get it afterwards as well. So if you can fill that out, that would be amazing. And you can take it away.
Thank you.
Of course.
I actually love this class and I request it whenever it comes up. So I appreciate that Mara and Matt over at Sunset Corridor continue to offer this opportunity to me and appease me. I'd like to kind of start off by asking if you're willing to, if you can please put on your cameras, because this is so much easier when I'm not talking to a black screen that has your name on it. And this is going to be a little different, I think, than most classes, just in that I am someone who is a little bit off book. So I will not be screen sharing with you. I will not be sharing slides and videos. This is going to be a little bit more organic, and that's how I like to teach. And it also means that I am very happy to answer questions as we go along. So if you wouldn't mind, that would be terrific, because I'd like to hear that people are engaged and interested in sort of what's happening. Okay, so with that being said, yeah, I appreciate the introduction. I'm originally from New York City, actually. And so I have to really be careful of my 1, accent, and 2, pace, because I have a tendency to have a really strong accent and a really fast pace. Mirror and matching is something that I have been working on for a long time, which is to sort of just match the pace of those people around me. And folks in the Northwest tend to finish sentences a little bit more slowly than I'm used to. So with that being said, when I first got into real estate, I was not with Keller Williams. I was with another regional brokerage, and I was very happy there. And I had a friend, for those of you who are in the Beaverton area, it's Dar Rogers from Dar and Darcy. And I spoke with her about just some of the challenges I was having at my brokerage. My first year as a solo agent, I did I closed 13 homes, which is great, but I had no idea how I got there, what I did right, what I wasn't doing right, didn't have any systems in place. In fact, I don't like systems. I don't like to create them, nor do I like to actually participate in them. But I did recognize that there were things that I was doing that was already a system. I just didn't know that it was. I went to Mega Camp, which we are not having this year, I'm sure, because it involves like 8,000 of your closest friends from Keller Williams, but I was just a guest. And the information and education that sort of poured out of Mega Camp just sort of blew my mind. So that's kind of how I got started with Keller Williams. I joined a team. My team leader at the time, Leslie Hilbert, thought I was insane for joining a team, because there is nothing about me from my KPA, for those of you who have taken that, that says that I should be on a team. But I was scared about being a solo agent again in a new brokerage. I was afraid that I wasn't going to have the business. I was afraid that I didn't know the systems, and I was afraid of everything that I didn't know. So I joined a team, and after I did about 4 months on the team and closed about 20 transactions, I realized that I probably could do this on my own. And then I started as a solo agent. I am on ALC, so Leadership Council. I'm actually the regional representative for Sunset Corridor. I'm on master faculty, and I actually teach BOLD all around the country, and actually was invited last summer to Scotland to speak in the Glasgow office, because I also speak internationally, but then COVID happened. And so then Beaverton is where I hung my hat, which looked decidedly different than Scotland, but happy to be here with you all. And wanted to know a little bit about you all, kind of what your name is and how long you've been in real estate, and which brokerage that you are at, which market center. So anybody can just kind of pipe in.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
You can go first.
Oh, I'm Tanea Green. I'll put my video on, but my internet is pretty when I have it going. So if I lose it. I'm in Southern Oregon at the Grants Pass office. I'm super new, just got my license last week. Just started my first escrow today with a buyer, and I'm really just figuring everything out.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'll go now. My name is Zoe. I have been a real estate agent for like over a week, maybe. It's been a very short amount of time, but it feels like forever because there's been so much to do. I'm with the Eugene Springfield Keller Williams office. And prior to this work, I worked in nonprofits for the last 20 years. So my experience has always been in support roles and recruiting people and working in the communities and talking to anybody and everybody, knocking on people's doors unexpectedly in order to recruit families that are, in DHS involved families. So they're kind of high risk groups and, going out in the boonies and finding people. So I have no problem talking to people, but right now I'm completely bogged down with all of the to-dos of setting everything up. So I'm kind of like, but I'm hanging in there and I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Awesome.
Oh, and I'm a partnership with Jeff Lewis, who's in the same room.
Awesome.
I guess then I might as well go second, since it's the second half. I actually have some real estate experience.
I am muted.
No, you're both still on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I think we're good now. Technology. So back in the 90s, I managed an office for about 7 years, a Coldwell Banker franchise. And then I was manager of a mortgage brokerage, about 12 loan officers for another 5 years, and went into banking. And then last 5 years in real estate technology and websites, that kind of thing. But most recently, my Keller Williams exposure was being the team leader at Eugene Springfield through a very difficult year. But I initially came to them with the thoughts of being an agent, and talking with Leslie, I took on the role of team leader. And I feel almost like I've jumped ship, but it was part of my passion, was to start this business with Zoe, and they're supporting me 100%. I still feel a little strange walking into the office after being the team leader at Eugene Springfield, but we're all in on making this business work. So we're excited, but I've only had my license for 2 weeks.
What an awesome background. That's awesome. It's humbling to have you both with me.
Yeah, I can follow you guys up. Yeah, I identify a lot with just the getting a little bogged down with all the to-dos and managing other things. But I'm Tyler. I'm from here in Oregon originally. I'm working out of Eugene right now. I just moved back after living out of state for about 6 years, so I definitely feel the not having as much of a sphere locally. I mean, like, I have people that I used to go to high school with that I haven't super kept in contact with, but I'm working with it anyway. Talking to people doesn't really scare me a whole lot. Calling people out of the blue a little bit is makes me nervous for sure. But otherwise, talking to people is fine. Yeah, I'm just really excited to get started. I am solo right now. I think most of us are. I didn't even really consider being a team, but I think even if I did, I'd probably still want to be solo, because I think that's just how I work. But yeah, so I'm really excited to hear what you have to say.
Cool. Thanks for coming.
Well, I'll go next. I'm out of Eugene Springfield as well. Doing makeup classes because I missed the first week due to my license timing. So that's what I'm doing. But I've been doing this for about a month and a half. First month, nothing but Zooms. And pretty much just getting database done. War market is decent. A lot of my own personal contacts had already bought homes this past year in Lowell. So they bought up like a whole community there, crazy enough. And so yeah, just right now, just working on my own neighborhood, surrounding. Just when I can go out there when it's too freezing, doing some one-on-one touches, and then touching base with all the business contacts I have. So that's really what I've been concentrating on.
Thanks for joining.
I'll go next. Hello. So I'm Chelsea, and I actually grew up in Pleasant Hill when I was little. I lived in Dallas, Oregon through high school, and then I moved around a lot after I was 18, but I ended up in Tri-Cities, Washington, where I met my husband, and that's about 13 years ago. I think I lived there 14, 15 years total. I went into cosmetology and was a hairstylist for a while. I've got 2 little kids, but my husband, he has a really crazy work schedule. He's in the restaurant industry, and he'd been working real hard for a promotion for a lot of years, and it was real hard for me to be in the salon full time. And I'd always had an obsession with real estate, and I read a quote one day, and it said, if you've been thinking about something for over a year, you should do it. So my husband was like, all for it. And I just barely started getting my feet wet in 2018, maybe like a year into it, he got an offer for his promotion, and we thought we were headed to Idaho, and last minute Oregon came available. So we took it, and we had a very crazy year after moving here, but I just jumped in December to the Keller Williams, Eugene Springfield. I had a friend contact me and say, hey, I want to list my home. Are you ready? And I said, I will be. So I jumped in a little sooner than I thought, and yeah, I'm just getting going and finishing up my first listing. It closes today is the official close day, so that's pretty exciting. And they are on their way to looking for their next dream home. And then I also have her 2 sisters as clients now, so that's pretty exciting. So yeah, I'm just getting my feet wet. I have a little vague idea of the area, but not so much. I was gone for a lot of years. I'm not really on social media, so I have like an entire platform to build. So I feel like now that I'm wrapping up my transaction, I can actually focus on starting from ground up, because I was a little stressed making sure everything went smoothly.
Love it. Thanks for sharing, Chelsea. That's awesome.
I'll go ahead and go. My name is Alicia. I'm also up on the screen just because I have roommates that we all work from home. So I live in Central Oregon. Bend is where I'm physically located, but I service all of Central Oregon. I'm originally from the Eugene area. I grew up in a town, Cresswell. Moved here. I've been here for 5 years. I got into real estate about 3 years ago as the DOFI for Keller Williams. So I did that for 2 years. And then my plan was to continue doing that. When I got my license, COVID hit. So I'd been licensed since last December. And now I'm finally getting into production and, doing the real estate thing. So this is where I'm starting. I actually had a high school friend, not really friend, but somebody that I knew in high school. They reached out just through social media. They live over here looking to buy, so I'm going to help them, which is really exciting. And then I have another buyer I'm working with, potential seller. So I have a few things going on finally, which is really motivating. So I'm here and trying to be present and show up and further everything.
Love it. That Central Oregon market is crazy because it's actually a faster moving market than Portland Metro. So
we have like no inventory. It's
and your price is actually higher.
They are, and we're having multiple offers being bought out by like cash buyers. It's been tough.
Yep, absolutely. Nice to have you here.
Okay, I'll jump in. My name's Destin. I'm at Keller Williams Sunset Corridor. I've actually had my license for 2 years because my wife made me get it after her first year in
Heather,
yes. So she made me get it, but I had a day job, so I didn't do anything with it, let it lapse. I finally quit my day job this last December. So she's being the slave driver, making me take all my education, which is important. And so we're moving forward from there.
I love Heather. Fabulous. And it's amazing what wives can motivate husbands to do.
Right. She's listening, by the way.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
I can go next. I actually live in Cresswell now, Alicia, but I just got my license a couple weeks ago as well, and actually just moved back a few years ago. I lived overseas in Europe for a few years, so resituating myself into where my friends are and trying to retouch base and reconnect with everybody. But yeah, still really brand new. So been really focusing on like getting my business cards out and getting my online presence pretty active. But yeah, I haven't made it much further than that. I have a 2.5-year-old at home, so she's pretty much glued to me at all times. Don't have daycare for her. So yep, that one's fun. But yeah, we're just taking it one day at a time.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and go. My name's Debbie and I'm out of Salem, and I had my real estate license in 95 and I was in the business for a couple of years. I got out of it because I started 2 other businesses that I had until the last few years when I sold them. And so I'm back in it again. I've had my license for about a week and a half, and I'm at the beginning all over with everybody else.
Awesome. It is never too late to do something you've always wanted to do. I liked that quote that Chelsea said, if you've been thinking about something for a year, that means you should go do that.
My name is Corin Thompson, and I've been licensed in real estate since last May. So I guess creeping up on a year now. I've taken I've taken all the classes. Just going back on a few of them for a lot of you guys that are brand new. I already feel like I've been through a couple different changes in this last year, just from learning what was into what will be. So don't be afraid to keep learning and keep taking these classes, as I said in the text earlier, because it's a weird world right now in real estate and everything. So don't be afraid that if you forget something to speak up and say, oops. But I was in commercial lending for almost 15 years prior to joining Keller Williams in the real estate world. I was with Pacific Continental Bank for pretty much all that. And they got bought out, I guess, just over 3 years ago by Columbia Bank. And they offered me a job in the back and looking at numbers all day and not talking to people. And as you can see, I'm in real estate. That's not me. So I decided to part ways with them and jump into the real estate world. It's been a lot of fun, lots of learning. I would say just focus on one or two things a day, especially some of the people that said have families, you have to stay at home with your kids and stuff like that. It's really easy to be overwhelmed, and I struggle with it still, but just focus on that one thing each day and really focus on that. That's helped me a lot, trying to just build little bits by little bits. And I feel like I've been fairly successful in my first 8 months of real estate. So.
Did you mention which markets where you were?
I'm in Lane County, Eugene, Springfield, but I grew up in Monmouth, Independence, Salem area, so I'm pretty familiar with all that. I have family up in the Portland area, but I'm physically located in Lane County.
Awesome, thank you.
I could go. My name is Christina, and I'm located in Central Oregon, and been here for about 2.5 years. I'm also from New York, lived in Southern California for about 11 years, moved here from Portland. We're there for about 7. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I've been licensed. I was a loan officer for over a decade prior to being licensed. I've gone back and forth between like loan officer and realtor a couple of times in my career, but I started out basically with Keller Williams in Southern California, and I was on a team there, and then in Portland, what's the location? Barnes Road, that's the office we were in. I was with the Sadel team over there as well. And it's been a slow start for me here. So I need, I think I just haven't been purposeful. And so I'm just getting my butt in gear.
That is one of my tenants. So keep an eye on that. Rick is a nice guy, by the way, Sadel.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I can go. My name is Tori. I am working out of the capital city, Keller Williams, and I've been licensed for like 10 weeks now, maybe a little less than that. I'm in transition because I'm working another job right now, and I just feel like I'm really fortunate to be like where I am right now. I've just, since I got out of college, I've been in the business of helping people. So I've done all kinds of things. I've been an EMT. I've been a lockdown counselor for kids in residential treatment. I'm currently a RAP care coordinator with the county, working with the top 10% of kids in our community who have mental health struggles and I'm just working in crisis all the time. So about a year ago, I actually was like, I'm also faith-based, and it was just kind of like, God, like I am struggling with my own mental health doing this. And I've been doing this so much and I really want to help people, but I don't know if this is how I'm meant to help people right now. And then Keller really, I've never ever considered real estate in my life, but it just kind of kept coming up. And so I was like, okay, I think this must be a message. So I did my training silently. I didn't tell anybody about it. Nobody in my family other than my husband. And I've got 2 kids at home. I have an 18-month-old and a 4.5-year-old. So I did most of it at bedtime, like after the kids were asleep. And after I passed, I finally told some family members, and like coolest, craziest thing, I told my dad, and he was like, oh my gosh, I've actually secretly been like looking at houses. And so I was like, what? okay, well, I've secretly been doing this. So that really just opened up a really beautiful conversation. So he's my first client, him and my stepmom, they're first time home buyers. He just became a US citizen 2 weeks ago. So this is like his American dream. It's just all happening really cool. But like I said, I'm in transition, and I appreciate Corin saying like focus on like 1 or 2 things a day, because like literally it can be overwhelming trying to think about everything that you possibly can do in real estate, and trying to focus on being present with my other current job, my 2 kiddos, and just being purposeful and thoughtful, intentional about everything that I'm doing. So.
And we're going to talk a lot about having a schedule and sticking to it and what that looks like and blocking out your time. I forgot to mention too, and now I feel a little bad about it, but I actually have 3 children as well. Now that you mention it. They're all learning from home. They're 14, 10, and 7. So not quite as challenging as having like a baby and toddlers and all of that, but challenging in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Stephanie Standridge. I have been with, I guess, the Eugene Springfield office for a week now, a little over a week. I've had my license for 3 years. I've done nothing with it. At the time, it was a good time for me to take the classes and get through the exam and be able to study. But I had a full-time job, and it just was a job that I was working 60, 70 hours a week, and I just didn't really have time to get into real estate. Honestly, a lot of the people I talked to discouraged me to try it part-time. So, which I thought was interesting, because at least from the Keller Williams side, no one's discouraged me from the KW agency to try it part-time. So I thought that was a very interesting little fact that I've learned in the last couple weeks. But anyways, my background is college athletics and live entertainment. So you can imagine COVID has taken a huge hit to that industry. You have not been to a sporting event probably, or a concert or anything, a Broadway show for almost a year now. So I got laid off in December, and just was kind of like, well, I guess now is the time to put my real estate license to use full time. So as I said, I'm just getting started, just trying to get my feet off the ground, still working on trying to get business cards and headshots and things like that. I grew up in the Eugene Springfield area. I grew up out in Thurston, moved away in 2007. I moved back last year, and I'm just outside of Eugene, just kind of between Creswell and Eugene, actually. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're going to put your license to use after 3 years. It's a good time to do that.
Thanks.
Okay, I think we have a couple more people.
My name is Cal, and actually I used to be in the healthcare industry. I used to be a healthcare director last 9 years. But after the COVID hit, I thought to take some time off, and I was in a home. Then I thought what to do. But I had a few properties that I was renting out. So then, but I always listen to this real estate podcast and all those stuff. So then I thought to join in the real estate. So that's in that time, then I thought to get my real estate license. Then I got my license 2 weeks ago. Then I joined with the Keller Williams Sunset Condo.
Oh, you're in our office. I haven't met you yet. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I never been there so far. So, and then last 2 weeks, good. So I was studying, and all the classes I'm taking. And so far I have 3 buyers, so looking for homes. Yeah.
0.8 months of inventory, my friend. It's a fascinating world out there.
Right. It's kind of like a whole different world to me, because I was in healthcare field so all my life. But let's see how it goes.
You're going to do great.
Thank you.
Kelly Cherry, I know you haven't said anything. You best get on there.
Yeah, I don't like to speak up. I'm at Sunset Corridor with Aubrey, and I'm new to that brokerage, but I've been licensed for 2 years. My first year, so I'm transitioning from 20 years of running my own house cleaning company. And so I really just looked at my big picture of life and knew that I couldn't maintain that for the rest of my life. but I wanted something I could still be my own boss. And so I'd been thinking about real estate. I have friends who are realtors, and I just decided to dive in, and I did school and my test within about a month while working full-time cleaning. I don't know how I did it. I didn't sleep, but I just wanted to get it done. So I did it. And then I was solo for my first year while working full-time still. And I had 7 transactions and still felt completely over my head. So I joined a team the next year. I did 14 transactions last year. And I am now going back to solo and just kind of trying to find my way and decide where I want things to go for myself, and where I fit. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to be the front man of something. Maybe I want to be in a back managing position somehow, but I don't know. I go back and forth with really where I want to take it, but I'm here just kind of starting up on this Ignite stuff. I'm kind of late to the game, but that's about it. I've lived out in Hillsborough for 20 years. I have a 14-year-old daughter, almost 14. That's about it.
Thanks for being here, Callie. Is there anybody that didn't say anything yet who wants to speak?
Yeah, my name's Julie Mayers, and I've been with Keller Williams for a little over a year, about a year and a half. That's about the same time I've had my license. I've only had a couple transactions, and it kind of really felt like I was floundering. And so I know I need more discipline, more focus, and that's why I'm here. And I love real estate and just really want to keep moving forward.
Which market center are you with?
The Market Center in Bend.
Cool. We got some Central Oregon folks. I love it. Love it. Anybody else who wants to say anything? All right. Well, the reason I always do this sort of roundtable is because there are things that are similar threads throughout everybody's story, no matter how long you've been licensed. And sometimes you just don't know what those threads are until you hear other people speak. But we all tend to have sort of the same questions, and even though our backgrounds are different, certainly in how we got here, I think the concerns and the questions tend to be the same. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did in order to sort of go from the 13, the 45, the 60. I'm on track this year already to do more than 60. Because I think that there's a couple of takeaways that I really want you to really focus on. Number one is that you're not all going to have the same legs of lead generation, and that is okay. Some people do really well on the phone. Some people do great at door knocking. Some people are going to call FSBOs and expireds. Some people like to do open houses, if that's still a thing in your market center. So I'm not going to say that any of those things aren't good. Somebody mentioned too about getting all of these calls about lead generation systems. What I'm going to tell you is that you need to choose 3 legs of lead generation and do that at a super high level. It doesn't matter what everybody else does. But what I'm going to tell you is that the legs of lead generation that you do have to be ones that you like to do. In other words, if you're someone who hates to be on the phone, then maybe calling a list of expired listings is not your jam. And that is absolutely okay. So I'm going to talk about the legs of lead generation that I chose. And also remember that it is okay to change things up. COVID has changed things up. It has changed the way that we've done business. And you know what? It's fine, because in a lot of ways, there are things that we do better now as an industry than we did before COVID. That will never go back to the way things were. And that is okay. So one of the things that always resonated with me with real estate is that real estate agents are really connectors of people. We are generally people that are like to chat. We're pretty social for the most part. If you've taken that DISC exam, I'm a very, very high D and a very, very high I. which means that I am someone who is very driven and a very highly influential person through communication. It doesn't mean that if you're an SC or somewhere else on the DISC profile that you don't make a good real estate agent. It means that you communicate differently. But for me, I liked this connection piece. So I lived in actually Maine for like 13 years. After living in Oregon for a few years, I came out here for college, and then I met my husband out here and then went back. Oh, the DISC, the profile test, it's actually Tony Robbins. You have to just Google, it's DISC. It's really fascinating. It actually helps you kind of communicate with other people who have different personalities than you are. So I came back to Oregon and we didn't know anybody and decided to start with real estate. I have a background in business and education. So when we came back and I started real estate, I joined this group, and this is actually my first leg of lead generation, and it is called MOB, Mother Owned Businesses. Ladies, for those of you who have children, MOB is a free group. It's a national organization, and it is just a bunch of women in business with kids who show up to meetups with kids, whether it's in person or virtually as we do it now. And it's just a place to kind of share ideas, meet up with other people that have similar interests. Gentlemen or people without children, there are millions of organizations that you can become part of. Someone had said that they weren't like big on social media. You need to be big on social media. That's where we are right now. Like, we don't have a lot of interaction with other people. So day one, when I started in real estate, I joined this group called MOB, and I actually belong to now the paid version of it, which is a smaller group. And what I started doing was I wanted to start to talk to people that I thought might be a good fit for my clients and their needs. And what I did is I just asked these people to my office back when we did that for coffee for like 20, 25 minutes. The purpose of the meeting was not for them to hear about me and my business, but I wanted to hear about them. So of course, you're going to have your lenders, your title people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about your contractors, your window cleaners, your house cleaners, your naturopath, your music teachers, like literally anybody that could be a good fit for your client, so that when your clients say, hey, do you know someone who can XYZ? I have a hole in my garage door. Do you know someone who can deal with that? I have water that's coming into my crawl space. Who can deal with that? But not just home stuff, everything. And it became a book. And the book is called The Welcome Home Book. And it's a binder that I now give all my clients and anybody that wants one. And the book is actually in 4 different sections: professional services. So that would be like your accountants, your lawyers, your doctors, dentists, whatever. It's residential services. So contractors, cleaners, etc. Health and wellness, and food and drink. And the reason why this matters is because this business to business aspect was crucial to begin my business, because what was happening is I would hear about their business and I would then recommend them to people. And then just by virtue of all of that happening, those professionals would then recommend me. I now on my team of professionals have a general contractor who I met through this MOB group, and she has referred me out to 6 listings. And I work with her on almost every project, whether it's to prepare a listing or to deal with a repair addendum, or to for buyers who are coming into a new home who want things done. And of course, there's painters and there's window folks and there's all of the other associated people that come along with this. What this did for my business is really extraordinary, because now when I have a closing on Facebook, on my personal page, I list every single person that had anything to do with that transaction, from the lender, from the escrow officer. All of my gifts that I give for my client gifts are local vendors. All of them get tagged. all of the contractors get tagged. And so you have this post where I'm constantly promoting other people. When we talk about coming from contribution, that's what we're talking about here, is literally uplifting other people with the intention of just uplifting them, not with the intention of like, oh, they're going to give me business back. But that is what actually happens. So my first leg of lead generation when I came back was honestly business to business through networking groups. So the second part of this, which is sort of an offshoot of that, of the networking, is that how many of you have heard of a BNI? Or do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dustin. So a BNI is a business networking group. And a lot of you talked about how important it was to be intentional. Well, Mob is so great for like social stuff and getting to know people and relationship building, but BNI is intentional business. And BNI it's a paid group, and there's 4 core people that need to start a group, which is a real estate agent, a financial planner, a lender, and what am I missing? Oh, property and casualty insurance, like homeowners insurance. Those are your 4 people that start a group. And it's really hard for a real estate agent to get into a group. Like they either have to die or you need to kick them out in some way. So I am not someone who likes to wait around a lot, and couldn't find a group that had an opening for a real estate agent because there's only one profession allowed per category. So I started my own. And so now I have one that's in Bethany, which is where I live. These people are committed, and we pass referrals, and I attend that every week, and I pass referrals every week. And that Mob group, I commit to that, doing that once a week. I do at least 2 networking groups every week. And the reason why this is so cool is because to date, we started that group in October of 2019. So right before, about 6 months before COVID started, and 75% of the people in that group have either bought or sold a home with me, and the rest have all referred clients to me. And this was literally just by showing up. How did I start my own group? I just called the BNI chapter, Oregon chapter folks, and said, I want to start my own. And then I found basically other people that were interested in also starting with me. And then we kind of formed and started meeting kind of sort of casually and then intentionally. And then we're actually just going to be an official BNI starting in February. The 4 core, Julie had just asked, is real estate, lending, financial planner, and insurance. And why do you have those 4 core? Because we are connectors of people, and we know a lot of people. And we're going to talk about the database here in a little while, but it's because our database is large, and because we know these contractors, right? We know the professionals, because the fact is I'm still getting people who have bought with me 3 years ago who are asking me like, hey, do you know a CPA? CPAs have nothing to do for the most part with real estate, but like, you know, we know everybody. So, and the thing is, you want people to ask you, you want to be the resource. Whenever, and this is also about social media, but you should all be joining your neighborhood pages, like on Nextdoor or on Facebook. If you have a group, like a neighborhood group, like I live in a planned community, join those. If someone says like, hey, does anybody know who strings Christmas lights? Well, that has nothing to do with real estate. But the way that I answer that is, hi, I'm Aubrey. I always refer all my Martin family real estate group clients to this company. They're terrific. Because here's the thing. People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. When we first moved back to Oregon, we had no idea like where to take my kids, for example, for a pediatrician. Like I didn't know anybody. So I asked my friend whose son went to school with my son, and I said, well, where do you take Evan to go to the doctor? And she said, we go to this place. And I was like, cool. And so then we went there, and we've been going there for almost 4 years. Because why am I going to Google everything? Like I want advice. I want a recommendation from someone who has already experienced it. And that's what we are. We want to be that referral source for everything. How do you look for a BNI that already exists? You can just put the word out on Facebook that you're looking for a BNI, but I can tell you the real estate position is really like, it almost never exists. You literally have to like start your own. Seriously, you just do, which we can talk about. Yeah, what Corin said is true. It is the most coveted position in the group. Yes, that is all totally true. So networking through social media groups is really important. So I'm a mom at a certain stage of life. I tend to connect really well with other moms in this stage of life, right? But in the end, your database, your people are people that like and do the same things as you do. So if you're someone who loves theater, if you're someone who loves hockey, if you're someone who's a runner, like not if something's chasing you, but like actually running, like these are the things, right? These are your people. It doesn't mean that you have to be like, hey, like I'm Aubrey and like, don't pretend to like things you don't like, but like I'm not a runner, but like I love theater. And so I'm going to connect with people about theater, right? And so we're going to talk about that. And then real estate stuff comes up. And you know that real estate stuff comes up because HGTV is super crazy popular for no apparent reason, right? Like everybody loves stuff about real estate. So when my daughter used to go to a birthday party back when we still did that, when we were in a different community, I would look at my total market overview. You guys look at those TMOs, you get them. I think most market centers get those. Total market overview shows you your actives, your pendings, your list to sales price ratios. Like look at those things before you go out in public, because the thing is that you can work conversation around real estate literally in every conversation without being obnoxious. You know, like it can, because everybody is interested in what's happening, whether they want to buy or sell a home or not. What you're doing is you're putting the seed in there. So when my daughter would have a birthday party, I would study those market overviews before I would take her to the party so that I knew what the traffic was in that neighborhood. Oh my gosh, did you see that neighbor down the street from you just sold her place in like 3 days for $750 when it was like listed for $720? Like that's crazy, right? Like that's done. Yeah, Destin, yes, you can have that commercial. Yes, you can have 3 different real estate agents. Yes, yes. Homes for Heroes, that's unusual that they would allow a third person that, because that's usually just a residential real estate. It's usually just residential and commercial, but residential real estate is the primary person. Commercial is kind of a subsection of that. So the groups that I belong to are Nextdoor. I belong to something called Beaverton Moms Group, which again is just a social group. It has nothing to do with business whatsoever. But what's awesome is whenever anybody refers me in that group, thank you so much to the Beaverton Moms Group for referring Cassidy. Here are all the people that helped, you know, blah, 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 blah. I really am more about sort of promoting other people's successes and the joy that comes from a closing for the family than I am about promoting myself. But the cool thing that comes from that is that the more times you do that, even if you're not like selling anything on Nextdoor, right? You're just putting your name out there. Aubrey was, you know, like, this is who I refer my Martin family real estate clients to or whatever. They start to just recognize your name because there are a lot of real estate agents out there. And my claim to fame is really the data. I'm a total data geek. I love the numbers. For those of you who are on like state of the industry, that stuff that Leslie was talking about today, I'm like, oh, all the data. I'm total geek. So that's what I'm sort of known for. And I don't try to be everything to everyone. I don't do commercial well. I'm not crazy about land. Like I'm, you know, I do some investment stuff from here and there, but really what I do is a lot of, detached and townhomes and single family houses. But like I have a listing going live in Sherwood for 1.4 in 2 weeks. You know, like I'm a little bit all over the board with that stuff. But so social media, promoting all your successes, do videos. Oh my gosh, people love videos. If you're just, even if you're like in front of a house that is not your listing and you have nothing to do with, it doesn't matter. Like people love to see this stuff. I'm going to do a little video later tonight that talks about like what 0.8 months of inventory means, right? Like for those of you in the Salem market, oh my gosh, like I was just one of 17 offers in the Salem market in Salem. And I mean, we nailed it, but it was not easy. It's a hard market and people need to understand why. And there are reasons why the market is the way that it is. And so I'm huge into like the Federal Reserve. Like I love all of those moving parts. And so that's what I talk about a lot. So BNI, social media, mob. One thing that came out from the social media stuff was that I had a lot of buyers that didn't really know if they could buy. They were interested, but they may be 6 or 12 months out. And the thing is that I'm at a place in my business and have been for a long time where I really can't spend an hour with someone who may not even be qualified to buy. So what I decided to do, and I think Kelly mentioned this earlier, is I teach a class every month. It's a buyer's class. And the buyer's class is basically all of the folks who may be kind of far out, but guys, that's your drip campaign, right? Like these are your pipeline people. It doesn't matter if, it doesn't really matter if they're 6 or 12 months out. These are people that are going to be buying with you maybe next year or the following year. But I got so many people that I would have 30 or 40 people sitting in class before COVID, these buyers classes. And I had incredible attrition with those, where I would have most of the people that sat in the class would then set meetings with my lender and then with me and then would buy. With COVID, of course, now it's all virtual, but I still have, last class we had 28 people in on that class. And so who are those people, right? I mean, these are people that were from the social media groups and from Facebook ads that I did that were targeted for buyers to get them in the seats, to learn about the process, to learn about the market, and then to get them in with my lender to get pre-approved. And then finally with me to go find a house. So my legs of lead generation are literally 100% from networking and referrals. And that's it. I don't cold call. I don't door knock. I don't do any of those things. I don't pay for leads. Never have. Never. Because the thing is that like, look, and it doesn't mean that paying for leads doesn't work, but there's a lot of time that goes into that. So the way that when COVID started, that I really managed things is I manage my schedule really, really well. Before COVID, my schedule was like this. I drop off the kids, I go to the gym, I go to work. I'm at work at 9:30. I'm at work from 9:30 to 3. I go deal with my kids and all of their cockamamie after school, whatevers. I'm home for dinner. And then at 7 o'clock, I pick it up again until 9 o'clock. So I'm working an 8-hour day, but I am with my children from the time that they were done with school and through dinner. Because I took Bold twice in person. And the thing that I realized from Bold number 1 is that you need to be yourself. Do not try to pretend somebody that you're not. I am not someone who is like fancy and polished. I don't drive a particularly nice car. Like I was super worried about what Northwestern folks were going to think about my, kind of New York edginess and all of that. I spent a lot of energy with that. Way too much energy. And it was exhausting trying to like fit into the mold of what I thought like real estate agents were supposed to be. And so for Bold number 1, my big takeaway from that is like, heck with it. Like I'm going to attract my tribe. I'm going to attract the people that are like me, that have similar interests to me, that are going to like what I bring to the table, that like my energy. And if you don't, then you know what? There's like a million other real estate agents and I'm sure they'd be better served by them. Cool. Number 2 is that, and this was really hard for me, but my number 2 thing with Bold the second time around was that I was killing myself working around the clock. For those of you who have like jobs and kids and stuff, man, like, you just get burned out and exhausted. And by the time I took the second Bold, I was in pretty high production, but I was pretty unhappy because I was working like 6-7 days a week. And, not to get too personal, but like we worked really hard to get my children here. I had very high risk pregnancies. Our first child passed away. Our oldest child is through adoption. My second and third kiddos, I was on bed rest for like 8 months each with each of them, right? So like I worked hard to get my kids here. And I was literally missing all of their childhoods by working like this. And I was not happy. Bold is Building a Life by Design. It's a class and it's offered usually every quarter. Now it's being offered online as well, virtually. And it's an amazing class. And it has to do with building out your schedule and lead generation and a lot of the things that I'm talking about, but it really has to do with like your mindset. And I always took a lot more out of it about the mindset about my own personal life than I really did about business, but they sort of intercede, whatever. So during that one, I realized that there was this big thing that happened at I think it was my daughter's gymnastics thing, where she like went way up to the top of the gym with the rope, and I don't know, whatever. It was a big deal. She's very small for her age. She was really proud of herself. My daughter had epilepsy as a child, so she really was not able to do a lot of the things that other kids could do. And I missed it because I was off doing who knows what. I have no idea. I had no control over my time whatsoever. My time had control over me. And so during that class, what I decided is like, I'm done. Like, I am done letting my schedule run my life. What I need to do is be very purposeful with the time where I am in work. And then when I'm not in work, I am present for my children. And I have never deviated from it since. Every Sunday I have off. I do not show on Sundays, ever. And I have tea with my children every Sunday. It's tradition because we're Russian and that's what Russians do. So, you've got to find a schedule for those of you that are working and have kids, or even for those of you that are sort of like overwhelmed by it all. And so just like work and feel like you get nothing done. You need to make those things productive. So when you talk about doing 2 to 3 hours of lead generation every day, well, I told you that I also go to these networking meetings. Well, my networking meetings are like 2 hours a day. So you know what that is? Lead generation time. I'm not doing like extra lead generation time on the top of that 2-hour meeting that I have for BNI. I'm not doing extra lead generation time on the days when I'm going to my mob meetup. That is lead generation time, right? And so it's so easy. Like, we make it harder than it has to be. The next thing that we're going to talk about once I kind of finish out this segment is building out your database. People are so super stressed out about these things, and they really shouldn't, because it's a really casual conversation. Like, it's just about connecting with other people. That's all. It's like friends, or it doesn't have to start off with like, who do you know that would like to buy or sell and invest in real estate? Like, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to anybody, right? So like, you have to make it you, whatever that is. So let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention is that when I first started real estate, I did a ton of open houses. I don't know if you guys are doing open houses right now or whatever. Open houses are a great way to meet buyers if they are available in your market. But again, like, there's a script for that. There's a script for everything. And I did that at a very high level. And then before COVID hit, I was like, I don't really feel like open houses is the best usage of my time right now. So I kind of switched. So my legs of lead generation really are networking, referrals, and my class. And that's basically it. That's all I do. Those are my 60 transactions. They've all come from one of those 3 places. That's it. Your database is Command, or it should be. It's free, it's easy, and it works. So, and I am not particularly, by the way, technology savvy, like at all. You talk to someone online, whatever, you're in a new networking group. Hey, would you, do you want a newsletter about what's going on in the market? Awesome. Put them in Command. You should be putting at least 5 contacts in Command every day. You have got to get them in the database, and then you tag them, and you tag them as either a buyer or a seller. You tag them from where you know them from. Are they from a networking group? Are they a friend? Like whatever, wherever they came from. I do a newsletter every month that talks about the market and any upcoming events that I have, or any new listings that I have. It doesn't really matter. Just pick 3 things to talk about, like whatever. But you definitely want to kind of create that engagement. I created a Facebook page that's called Welcome Home PDX. That is an offshoot of my Welcome Home book that I give to all of my clients, because that book changes all the time. And so I wanted to have people like have updated information when I have a new vendor in there. And so we, it's not just about that stuff. We also, talk about like funny memes about HOAs and how ridiculous they are, or about Blackberry Castle that just sold for $4 million to an adult film star who is now using it as an adult film star studio. I mean, these are the things, but like, these are my clients, right? Like, they have senses of humor, like they're funny, because I like those people and they like me, hopefully. So it's really about constant engagement. And the other thing I'm going to tell you, and like, I know that a lot of you feel like you're not in a place of business where you can really do this, but this is something I think you should just like remember, is whatever it is that doesn't make you money, leverage out. Do not spend your time doing like admin stuff and paperwork once you're kind of at a place where you don't need to be doing that anymore, because your job should be setting appointments, going on those appointments, getting people under contract, you know, all the negotiation stuff. And that's it. Those are the things that make you money. Everything else can be leveraged out, everything. So when I say I'm a solo agent that has a transaction coordinator who does client care. So lots of communication with clients. I have a listing coordinator who helps like lock boxes and signs and schedules cleaners and stagers and blah, blah, blah. She does all of that. My husband, because someone else mentioned this too, my husband, we've been married for 20 years. And so he does my photos, he does my Matterport, he does my marketing. He's a programmer, so he does my website. I mean, he has like a job also, but like I still make him do these things. And then my children, you know, the thing is that like, if I didn't want to have to make a choice between my business and my kids. So I had this idea, let's just have the kids be part of the business. And that's what they do. They put together my welcome home books. They put together my event stuff. They come with me on showings. They don't go into the house, obviously, but like we go and do something. We'll go take a hike after a showing or like whatever. Like COVID has forced us to do things differently. And rather than fight it, we just embrace it. And so now we're Martin Family Real Estate Group, which is really just me, but still like it's me with like a whole merry band of amazing like admin and family people. So that's like that's it. And I was saying to Kelly Cherry earlier, and Kelly, like, I can't say your name without saying your full name because it just doesn't sound right. But that like, there is no secret sauce here. It's literally just about meeting people, like whether or not you have just moved back to the area or you're new to the area, you've lived in an area your whole life or whatever. It's just about talking to other people. And the easiest way to talk to other people is to be of service to those people in business to business. I swear it is the easiest way to go to begin with. Because if you are promoting them, they will promote you. So in this notebook, by the way, in addition to the 4 sections, I also have flyers. And the flyers say stuff like, mention Martin Family Real Estate Group for 15% off your first carpet cleaning. Like this is what these relationships have built into. And these are really, really easy things to do. I have my own sort of things that have helped me, my little mantras. Number 1 is to come from contribution. You will never feel weird about reaching out to people if you have something of value to share with them. Whatever that is. COVID provided a great opportunity for that, for us to reach out to our database and really ask, like, I don't need anything from you. I'm not asking you about real estate. What I'm asking is, what do you need? How can I help you? You know, when the fires were happening all over Oregon, I'm calling all of my clients. Do you need anything? Can I bring something to you? Do you need a place to stay? Like whatever. And the thing is, don't have it be hollow, have it be real, because I had a whole list of things that I could offer to people that needed something, right? Like these are the most personal conversations that we could be having right now in 2020 and 2021, right? This is the time to dig deep and not be salespeople, but be relationship based. It works. I mean, it does. Like, and people are going to remember the people that reached out to them. Do things that you love. If you are like, find some friends. There's actually this great story. There's a guy that came to the Portland market, and his name is Jason Abrams. He's a really funny guy. If you guys should look him up, he's based out of the Midwest. He has a like total mouth like a truck driver, which of course appeals to me. But he's really real. And he told this story, which I thought was amazing. And it sort of changed my business. And the story was this: he's a coach, and there was a woman, an agent down in Georgia, and she'd been an agent for many years. And she was like, Jason, I'm getting out of the business because like, I just don't like the way that real estate is done anymore. It used to be done with a handshake and it just feels impersonal now. And I just don't want to do it anymore. So he said, listen, before you quit the business, let me just come down and coach you. So he came down and he said, whatever her name is, Linda, whatever. What are some of the things that you love to do? Like in your spare time, forget about real estate. We're not talking about real estate. What do you love to do? And she said, there were 3 things, but I can never remember the third one. But the first one was tennis. I really love to play tennis. And then the second thing was shopping. And I'm like, is that a thing? Apparently it's a thing. So anyway, these were the 2 things that he wanted to focus on. He said, okay, Linda, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask your friends who they know who plays tennis, not your friends that play tennis, their friends that play tennis. And I want you guys to start playing tennis together. And so that's what she did. She found this group that were friends of friends where they would all play tennis together. And the same thing with shopping. They would go to some mall or something. And I think they were all like grandparent ages or like whatever. Linda, talk to your friends who have friends that also like to shop. And so what they would do is they would go to the mall and they would like go shopping for whatever. And then they would come back and talk about the things that they found and talk about their families and all that good stuff, right? That shopping group then became like 100 people large. I never knew that there were so many people that like shopping, but this is what Jason says. It must be true. So the thing that happened was miraculous. Even though this was not about business, even though it was not about real estate, all of those people became her clients because everybody knew that she was in real estate and they began to know, like, and trust her. Not just her inner circle, but people she never even knew before, because those were the 2 things that she really liked doing. So you have to find something that you like doing and find people that like doing it with you. And that's your sphere. Seriously, that's your sphere. Whatever it is that you do things at a high level. Don't do 10 things of lead generation, like kind of half-assed. Can I say that? I think I'm being, but whatever. Like do things at a high level with intention. So for me, it's BNI, it's Mob, it's my Beaverton Moms group, it's my social media, and it's also really loving on my database. I do 4 client events a year. I take them to Street of Dreams. I have a Santa event. I did a pie event. I do a big Halloween party. 2 of my events are community events where people can, like my clients can bring their friends, and 2 of them are just exclusive events for my clients. And I believe me when I tell you, I'm a huge fan of Gary Keller. And I am very, very careful about how I spend my money. My gross and my net profit, I run at about 80%. Only about 20% of my profit goes towards leverage or whatever. So I'm not talking about spending $10,000 on a client event, but anybody can do a client event. You just have to be a little intentional about it. So like I did Street of Dreams. This was an event that already happens. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm taking clients to Street of Dreams. Like it's not a big deal. You can do a picnic in the park, like, I guess socially distanced if we're at that point still. I mean, there are so many different ways that you can just hook into other pre-existing events. And if they're not your clients, because you don't have a lot of client base yet, then just like bring your friends. Like everybody wants to know what you're doing in real estate. Believe me, you just need to not be a secret agent. And that is my other, like one of my big other things for you to know is that like, you should tell people that you're a real estate agent. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Like it's a good thing. They're going to see you as someone who knows things and who knows people. So make sure that you're out there. Once you get your people into the database, you're going to start emailing people and texting people. Make sure that they know that you're a real estate agent. Take classes. You should be taking classes, not just Ignite. You should be taking continuing education classes. You should be taking contracts classes. You should be taking classes. Do not take so many classes that you are paralyzed in education. Take classes and also do the work. And you should always be taking classes. I don't care what part of the business you're in or how long you've been in it. Everybody should always be taking classes, but you'll gain confidence through classes. So those masterminds where we're talking about the market or we're talking about different strategies, you will feel more confident in your own business, and that confidence will shine through to your clients. And then the last thing is you have to really be consistent. I block out my calendar. I do 2 to 3 hours of lead generation. That's a non-negotiable. I'm also, of course, negotiating contracts, et cetera, et cetera. I send thank you notes to my clients. I have client gifts that I put together. Like you have to be very consistent in your schedule. And don't be afraid though, that if something's not working for lead generation, to just move on to something else, something that works better. I would also really recommend that you learn your scripts. So scripts are one of those things that I'm like, scripts, they sound so, but the thing about scripts is all they are is a way for you to feel comfortable and confident with the language, that you don't have to think about it, so that you can go and talk to people without feeling nervous about what you're going to say. And then you sort of tailor the scripts like with your personality. I mean, the scripts, the meat of the scripts are all really good, but you have to use your own language, your own lingo, your own facial expressions. I mean, as I said, I'm not exactly the most like polished real estate agent on the planet, and I use scripts, but they're like my backup. It's just so that you feel confident. Okay, so hang on, I'm going to go back to all of your comments here, and then I'm going to take some questions too. I manage an animal rescue and goat dairy on my property. Polish is not my everyday look. That's cool. I run a nonprofit theater. Awesome. I have my degree in theater. It got me absolutely nowhere except real estate. Costumes are normal. Weird is my jam, and pretending to be exhausted in all the wrong ways. Oh my gosh. So this is such a good comment, because look at this. So she manages an animal rescue. Like, there's tons of animal people out there. There's tons of theater people out there. And the thing is like, those are your people. Like, you shouldn't be marketing to people that are not your people. Like, market to your people. Just make sure that those people know who you are. Bold is amazing. I took it in person Q4 before COVID. Yes, I love Bold, and I'm fortunate enough to be in Bold Coaching Corner. They ask me to do that pretty frequently, not necessarily here, but like Arizona, Colorado, Florida, whatever. It's so good. Everybody should take Bold. It's just like such a good, powerful, little cool lady, but honestly pretty awesome program for everybody. And it will really help you sort of manage your time and sort of figure out what your big thing is, like what your one thing is, your big why. Has everybody read like the Millionaire Real Estate Agents? You read the red book, read the one thing. Like, these things are really, this is about systems so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. It's about figuring out what your one thing is. Like, what is the thing that sort of gets you out of bed in the morning, and everything sort of falls under the one thing. I would buy a house from you. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's why I said, like, there really isn't sort of secret sauce stuff here. It really is just sort of figuring out what your assets are and figuring out who your people are and just connecting with them. I will tell you, I hate the computer and everything about it, but social media is your friend. You just have to realize how to harness it. People also have the attention span of a flea. So you also need to do like videos pretty often, and just visuals in general are really, really good. And just connect in with those people that with who you share interest. But I think the big thing that you guys can do today is find out who the professionals are in your community and ask to do a Zoom coffee with them to find out about their business. I mean, and then do a profile maybe on your Facebook page about them. But again, like, not about you, but about them. You just need to get the word out about who you are. Okay, so I know I've sort of thrown a lot of information at you. So on the feedback forms from these classes, the one thing that I always get, there's always one person that says like, but you didn't go by like the manual, like there's nothing on the Zoom, like on your screen share about. I don't do that, because the thing is that like the information has changed since, as part of the classes, right? So the thing about your database is that is COVID or not COVID. You need to make sure that you're constantly adding to your database, that you're tagging people, and that you're doing something with those people in your database. If they just sit there, then they're not working for you. You need to like reach out to them. And sometimes it's by alphabet, so that you're only doing a section per day or whatever it is. And sometimes it's for a newsletter. Like for some people, I'm tagging, these people went to my buyer's class. These people registered but didn't attend. So that's a different, have you guys seen Smart Plans yet through Command? You can shake yes or no. Smart Plan. So a Smart Plan is once you have someone in your database, What do you do with them? Well, number one is you tag them. Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Where did they come from? Are they an allied resource? So is it a contractor or whatever? Like, who are they? Where did you meet them? And then the next piece of it is, what do you do with that information? So are you going to invite them to an event? Are you going to, did they come, as I said, did they come to my class or whatever it is? But you need to do something with those people. You need to have a plan. A communication plan is what a SMART plan is. And so if you don't have a SMART plan, if you don't have these tags and you don't know how to do this, and you need to talk to someone in your market center, this is your database. It's better than Excel. It's better than a pad of paper. Like, these are the people and the plan for how you're going to follow up with these people. And then the follow-up doesn't have to be like, hi, I'm Tanya. I'm in real estate. How may I help you? It really has to be organic right now. How much time do you spend daily on social media interaction? Well, that is part of my lead generation time. So typically not more than 2 to 3 hours, unless it's a BNI or mob day, in which case very little. But with the Beaverton Moms group, which is just that social group, or next door, as soon as something comes up, and you can even put it in the search bar, like real estate, that anybody has any questions about anything that you know something about, you need to answer. It's really just about getting your name out there. That's all. I don't care what it's about, whatever. I'm not going to talk politics, but I just put this morning, I put in my Beaverton Moms group about, like, did anybody else take their kids out of school today to watch the inauguration? Like I said, I did not do real estate today for 2 hours while I watched the inauguration. So here's the thing. I got 100 comments just on that question, because I'm just asking them something that has nothing to do with real estate about, like, what they did with their kids this morning. But I also put in that I did not do real estate this morning. Right? Like, and then I got a message just during that, like, oh, hey, I just saw your name on Beaverton Moms group. We're interested in a where you have cash to do an investing. Can you meet up this evening? So it's just about mentioning, like, yourself in real estate. Like, that's really it, honestly. And a lot of new people ask about, like, oh, are people going to ask how long you've been in real estate? I don't think anybody's ever asked me how long I was in real estate, like, ever. Because if you take the classes, if you feel confident, nobody's going to ask you that. And also, like, I mean, maybe if I looked 21, maybe people would ask me that, but I don't. So, like, people just assume I've been in real estate for 20 years, and that's cool. But I haven't, because I'm 44. But the thing is that, like, nobody asked that question. If you come across as someone of knowledge, it's fine. It doesn't mean, by the way, that you should, if someone asks you a question, that you should make something up. Don't do that. If you're newer in real estate and there's something that comes up, people are so afraid to even, like, have a conversation about real estate, because they're afraid of not saying the right thing, or they're afraid of not knowing. So here's something that really works beautifully for that. What do you know about 1031 exchanges? And so the response to that is, 1031 exchanges should be something you talk to your accountant about. And I do know quite a bit, but you know what? Give me a little bit. I'm just going to, like, arrange my thoughts, and then I'm going to email you back. I mean, like, you don't make something up. It's really, take the time, go call your market center, someone in your market center, or call me and ask me what it is. Ask me what an escalation clause is. Like, a client says, well, what do you know about escalation clauses? Would that be good in a buyer's market? And if you don't know what an escalation clause is, you're like, so you can say, like, I don't do them too often, but let me just confer with some other folks in my market center to see what's the best kind of road ahead for you. It's like, you don't have to be afraid to talk. Like, it's okay. Even if you don't know, like, it's okay to say that you don't know. People appreciate the honesty. People want you to be who you are. They really don't want anything else. And I think that is the thing that I hear from new agents the most, is the fear. So much fear. I have no fear. And I have no lack of self-confidence. What was that, Jeff?
I've seen people have come from all over, and we're all working on the database right now through Mara's class. And I would encourage people to put everyone, no matter where they live. We're tagging them. Zoe and I are tagging them out of state, because we're licensed to do here. But Keller Williams, just don't forget, they're the largest real estate company in the world. And you haven't probably seen it yet, but you can go through Command and you can actually find other Keller Williams agents in every place around the world, right? So you might network with them differently, your friends and your family and states, other parts of the country, but tag them that they're out of state and then do some messaging and marketing and just make sure you're referring someone that fits their personality. And because that you need to make money quickly, and that is one way. Just don't give up on all your contacts outside the state. You can work that.
Totally, because, and it's a really easy post on social media. Hey, no matter where you live, I can help you with your real estate stuff. And you know, what happens there is then you can then go and, so there's a couple different ways of finding referrals for people like your friends and family that are out of state. Some people will ask on like the Bold website about who they know and all that, but that's not my jam. What we do for referrals is I actually call the market center where those people are, and I talk to their MCA or their ATL. Oh my gosh, there's so many acronyms in Keller Williams, it like kills you. But that's your assistant market center administrator or the assistant team lead. And I say, hey, I've got this seller. I know you're in Arkansas, and this is the price point that they're in. This is the kind of personality they have. Who would you recommend that they talk to? So that because otherwise you're going to get like a million people on these message boards that are like, oh, this person's the best. Whatever. Most of those people, no one has ever worked with before, but they're like in some sort of referral group thing. You go to the source and you ask the team lead or the AMCA or the ATL, who is the person that is the best fit. The great thing, as Jeff said about referrals, is this can be anywhere that Keller Williams has an office. Referral fees are awesome because you basically just sort of interview a few candidates, or you go through that ATL or whoever it is that they recommend, and then the deal closes and you get however much the referral fee is that you have negotiated. But totally remember that it's not just Oregon and Washington, it is absolutely worldwide. I usually do probably between 8 and 10 referrals, outgoing referrals a year, and I probably could be doing more. But that's super, super easy way. And the same thing with those people is like, make sure that your friends and family that have people moving to Oregon can also refer to you if they're agents in other market centers, because that's also awesome. And that also comes from like that comes from the KW site.
About getting referrals from other out-of-state people or that kind of thing without saying, hey, I get paid too.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that, sorry. I don't know who was talking, but I missed the first part of that. Sorry. Chelsea just said, I'm licensed in Washington as well. I put my license on inactive status to get my Oregon-based business stable first. I was told that I'd be better off leaving it inactive and do referrals. Is this good advice? I mean, it depends. So here's the thing. I'm only licensed in Oregon, and that's that was a very conscientious decision for me, because I don't feel like I want to go to Washington because it's like 45 minutes away, and it would just like, I feel like there's plenty of business near me. So I found a referral partner in Washington who only works in Washington. And so all of them, if it's in Clark County, it goes to this one agent. If it's in Thurston or Lewis, which is above, then it goes to them. But I don't work with agents that are licensed in both places because I want their referrals too. If you want to work in Washington, you can. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that like as a newer agent, if you want Washington to be sort of in your area, then you can. I actually service everywhere from Central Oregon to the coast. So that's sort of my area. So you can, but I don't know. I would say the only reason that you should do it that way is if the fees in Washington are making it and you're not actually doing work in Washington, then I guess you would just do it that way. But there's nothing wrong with working both states if you have the bandwidth to do so. It's just not my jam. Okay. Thanks, Abigail. That's really nice. Abigail just said, yeah, lead generating is discouraging sometimes because if you don't have a huge social circle, but you don't have to have a huge social circle. You don't have to you literally have to have no social circle, but you just have to go and make friends with people that have similar interests to you. It's hard. How do you talk to your friends and family about referrals without emphasizing that you get paid too? I don't even talk about that part of it. But well, first of all, like, don't your friends and family like want you to succeed? I mean, if they don't, then you should get different friends and really reconsider how much of a relationship you want with that family. But the thing is that like, I don't even really talk about that. I'm like, I basically just say like, look, I've got this great network of people. I'd be happy to interview some folks for you to see who would be the best fits, that you don't have to kind of go through all of that stuff. And that's it. I mean, again, like they know, like, and trust you theoretically. So they will go generally with the recommendation that you have. But in that, on the other hand, like you should actually interview the people that you are talking about referring, just to make sure that it is in fact a good fit and that they can actually take on the business and all that good stuff. I don't even really talk about the fee part of it. I either just assume that they don't care or that they know, and yeah, I just don't talk about that. I've never had an issue with it, I guess. What other questions do you guys have? I'm actually interested to see what your legs of lead generation have been. Look, what do you guys do for lead generation?
I've been loving open houses, but unfortunately, that's no longer a thing, at least in-person ones. So to be completely honest, I've been really struggling finding a new one that I really enjoy, because that one, over half my business was from open houses. So it's it's a challenge for me, and it's really just me getting off the couch and finding a new way to do it, either virtual open houses or a different way that I really enjoy it.
What do you like to do, like in your spare time type stuff?
This time of year, skiing during the summer or nicer weather, golfing. So I wrote those down as your suggestions of doing what I like and meeting new people. I've actually had a couple new people invite me to go skiing because they've seen my Facebook posts on there from going skiing the last couple weeks at Hoodoo. Then experimenting with Facebook Live and doing that when I go skiing, just to show them what it looks like. So it does work, and I just need to convince myself that it does work.
Can I make a suggestion too while you're skiing? Because those are two fabulous things, and also almost all of those people have discretionary income, right? People that golf and people that ski. But the next time you go skiing, while you're up there, go feature a really cool house up there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And do that with your video too. Like, hey, I'm just up on I'm on my way up to Hood or wherever I'm going. Just stopped by in Sandy at these really cool food carts. They're really cool food carts in Sandy. And just popping by this, isn't this like really cool architecture? If you want to see any houses, if you're interested in like, getting a cabin up here, let me know. Love to join you, whatever. Like make the connection between the thing that you like to do and real estate in a non-salesy way.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love golf and skiing though for that kind of stuff. And golfing is great because you can actually still do that as well as skiing in pandemics, which is great. Okay, what else? I'm interested what else other people are doing for legs of lead generation, or you can talk to me about that kind of stuff. Is what do you guys like to do? What can you put in action with other people who share your interests? Come on, you have interests. You must have interests. Or tell me about your legs of lead generation that you're doing currently. Either one.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I love doing DIY stuff. Anytime.
Well, that's an easy peasy real estate connection, isn't it? DIY stuff. Do a video of you doing a DIY project around the house. Like that can be, those people like are always looking for some sort of project in the house or around the house or flip of some kind. So gosh, that's like a beautiful connection right there. Love that.
I do.
Sorry, go ahead. One of the things that I've been doing actually for a while now, just to kind of get myself out there, it's just been using my social media for fitness and wellness, because I'm super into fitness and working out and that. So I go live every morning, usually just to, get myself out there, talk with people. I've been doing this hair shampoo business on the side, and that's just been giving me something to talk about and kind of diversifying myself. I've connected with a lot of new people. So they follow me, and I'll sprinkle in real estate. I'll sprinkle in the art that I do, just all of the facets of my life, just to create that, relatability, the relationship. And then I have a connection, and usually conversations carry on and things progress. So it's been
Well, and here's
working.
the thing, the two about like the hair and shampoo piece of it is that generally entrepreneurs tend to attract other entrepreneurs. And just so you know, generally need 2 years of taxes if you're self-employed to buy a house. So, I mean, these are just sort of the things that you sort of sprinkle in with other entrepreneurs. And if you're someone who does like running and you're running in your neighborhood, like what a great opportunity to showcase some of the houses in your neighborhood. Like it's just life sprinkled in with real estate, as opposed to real estate sprinkled in with life. Okay,
It's
what
way
else?
more organic.
Because,
It is way more organic. It is. It absolutely is, because like we're just like real people that happen to do real estate, and they, like you're going to attract people that like you, and they're going to want to like work with you because they like you. So here's something, and this is like, you can take it or leave it. This took me a long time in my business to get to this point. I decided last year that I was only going to work with people with who I share human rights values. Kelly knows this because I put this on my social media. And it was a risk, but I decided, and not just with my clients, but also with like my stagers, my cleaners, my professional partners, that it was important for me at this stage of my life and the stage of my business to surround myself with people that share similar values to me. It doesn't mean we have to share the same opinions, but like values. And I put it out there because I felt like for me, it was important. I do not talk about like, politics or a lot of stuff on my Facebook page, but I did feel like it was important to do that. And there were a couple of people that I lost. There were some clients that I lost. There are some clients that I fired. There are some like professional partners, some stagers and stuff that I was just like, yeah, you know what? Like I'm done, because I just want the energy around me that I want. And it was a scary thing to sort of like take a stand for who you are and what you believe in a non-inflammatory way. Like I don't wish them ill will. I just don't want to work with them. But the business that came to me was extraordinary for me and my business. So I'm not suggesting that you should do that. What I am suggesting is that you find your voice. And once you find your voice, your people will come to you. I promise, whoever those people are. Okay, other legs of lead generation, other things that you guys like to do. What kind of groups can you reach out to?
I like to do photography and like photo and like, well, not video editing, but photo editing in my spare time, which seems like that would lend itself pretty easily to real estate as well.
So much, so much, right? Taking photos of things of architectural interest. Do you guys still have, we still have them up here, but I know different parts of the state are in different sort of, stages of lockdown. But do you still have broker tours at all? Do they still have those?
I'm
Or
not
like on
sure.
Tuesdays,
I've heard of those, but I'm not sure.
Broker tours are not for the public. They're just for other brokers. And it's an opportunity for brokers to go into a house and see what's on the market. And also what the agent is looking for is feedback on if the house is priced well, on how it shows and all of that. Such a great opportunity. You guys should be talking to your market centers to see if they're still doing broker tours. And you should be seeing as many houses as possible, whether you have a broker tour or not. Go to open houses. Like you should be seeing houses. You need to know what's on the market. Like I get that houses are on the market for 2 or 3 days, but know the neighborhoods. Like it is really important because it will help you with your confidence when you're talking with clients. You have to know you got to know the inventory. Go to places where you don't usually go. Go to new construction. Oh my gosh, you guys, go to new construction. You know what's the beauty of new construction? No multiple offers. It's a beautiful thing. It is. It really is. So go check things out. Because in this market, you really have to, you got to know what's going on and you got to really move quickly as well. What else do you guys like to do? Is anybody into like art or, what else do you guys like to do?
I've got some weird ones. So it's hard for me to figure out how to fit in. I really love bugs and all the things that people tend to not like. I'm really into biosciences, and I really love hip hop. So it's kind of a hard demographic group to find how to connect with people about real estate on those topics.
No,
I'm
dude,
struggling.
no, that's dance. I mean, like there's tons of people who like to dance, tons of people that like to dance. You can absolutely find groups that like to dance. The bug thing, I mean, biosciences is cool. We live in Oregon. It's cool.
She needs to connect with us animal people. We love
Yeah,
bugs and composting and butterfly gardens and all of the,
It's
biodiversity on a farm.
Yeah, right. It's outdoorsy stuff. It's farmy people. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're living in Oregon. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're good. Those aren't weird. I was waiting for something a lot weirder than that.
Oh.
No. They are
You want me
totally
to
like.
I can try. Try harder. No.
No, I mean those are outdoors people and dance people. You can find those. Yeah, I mean, and again, like it's to an extent, it is online right now, but that's okay. Like that's cool because it's not about that. It's just about like having things in common with other people.
I'm actually a member of a couple of groups on Facebook, but they're kind of broader groups and they're more dispersed, kind of national groups. And I think I need to look on something a little bit more local that might help.
Yes, you need to go local. You need to go hyper local. Absolutely. I love that. She says, you have worms. I'm looking for worms for our compost and chickens. See, that kind of conversation, if that was another real estate agent, that is a perfect opening for a conversation and a beautiful friendship. You like worms? You have worms? I have chickens. Like it's really that organic, literally. Funny. I know puns. I know. All right. What else? What other legs of lead generation you guys doing right now? I mean, because open houses is one. Yes. What are you guys doing?
So I love to drink wine. So I sat out at my friend's winery last Friday and sat at the outdoor tasting room, just chatting with people. Ended up picking up a buyer that way and talking to some other people that are just kind of exploring the area. And it was a great afternoon to just sit in the sunshine and have a nice bottle.
Yeah, real estate's hard, right? It's really hard.
It was a brutal Friday. I'm not sure.
It sounds like it. My condolences. Yeah. No, but I mean, that's true, right? Like and again, like where are you going to find, you have to be out there, whether it's virtually in social media groups or literally outside doing stuff. It's a great idea. The foodies, people that like wine and stuff like that, coffee drinkers or whatever, all of those folks are really good to connect with. Sometimes people have like on their laptop, like while they're working at a place, like if they're working outside at a coffee place or whatever, you have like I have my Martin Family Real Estate sticker right on my laptop. Now, is anybody going to come over there and be like, oh, that's interesting, let's talk about real estate? Well, maybe not. I don't know. But it's just about me not being a secret agent. How did you do that? How did you start talking to people? Was it just connecting with people over wine, or how did that go?
I mean, it's COVID. So I think that everyone is just really happy to have opportunities to talk to other people when we can. And so I feel like now more than ever, conversations are just really easy to start. So it's Oregon, it's beautiful. Anyone who's checking out the Applegate Valley never wants to go home, and they always talk about wanting to move here. So I'm gonna plan like one day a week to just kind of go hang out there and see who's serious about moving and who wants to stay.
Maybe connect with the owners of the vineyard to see how you can form a partnership. Maybe find out about their stuff. Like part of my client gifts is a vineyard that's based in McMinnville. And so every time that I give out a client gift, it has a bottle of their wine in there and I'm tagging them on my Facebook page, right? And so they're constantly getting social media mentions and marketing every time I have a closing. When I have a listing, I have a little placard, like these little placards, I call them look signs, that are all throughout my listing that says like, some of it's like, look, I'm stainless steel appliances and I'm new, but it'll also say like, I was just cleaned by Vanessa Mayfie at Marine Clean. Look how shiny my windows are. I was just cleaned by KJM Window Cleaning, right? And so my people are constantly being promoted in my listings, in my closings, in social media. in my listings, of course, I'm doing a video tour, right? Like you would for any of your listings. And so I'm also showing those signs. Like I would go a step beyond just talking to people at the vineyard and actually connecting with the vineyard to see how you can form a partnership.
Yeah, there's some good friends of mine. So I've been just kind of buying bottles to put in my thank you baskets and stuff. And they have like a local flower person there, so I was getting some of her flowers to do. And so yeah,
Just make it
in the
intentional.
works.
Just make sure that whenever you do it, it's intentional. It's intentional and it's marketed. Anybody else have anything to share about their legs of lead generation or places that they're going to meet people to give others ideas?
Well, I want
oh, no, you go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
I share, well, I think most of my generating happens around my kids and their events and things that I go to with them, because pretty much that's all my free time and I like to keep them busy. And during COVID, that's been hard. But I am kind of funny because I'm super social and outgoing and I love chatting with people. That probably comes from hair, and I've been in the customer service industry since I was 15, and I'm happy to talk to people and be their therapist when I was doing hair. I love it all. But so I don't always like to approach it. It's just like when I would sell hair products at the salon, I was terrible and my sales were like really awful because I was like, hey, I can go get this at the hair salon for way cheaper and you're like my friend. And I like felt really guilty for like overselling these products by like $1 million. So I made like a terrible hairstylist. But so some of the things that I try to do are like a little bit, so I don't have to like reach out as much and people will ask me. So for one, I get like those lanyards that you can wear around your neck. And then I get like a clear one and I put my business cards in there and I like to wear that. And I'll just wear it when I leave the house or go to the grocery store or when I take my kids to events and, your little Realtor pins you get. I have a couple and I put them on there and stuff like that. I find really is helpful just in like the smallest way to ignite conversation, because it generally gets brought up and people are always checking it out and looking at them. And if you have them on hand, you're literally wearing them around your neck, you're your own advertisement. And like, of course you do all your normal things that you do, but little things like that, if you can kind of like sneak them in, I feel like are really helpful because you're not feeling like you're like bombarding people that are kind of like closer to you, like a friend circle and other moms. Like I'm not like jumping out of there, but then they often ask me about it. And so it's really nice to kind of like self advertise, but without being pushy. And then usually I feel like in your mom groups, and I always say that, like adding value to the conversation, right? Because you're usually exchanging like stories about your kids or you're giving advice, or they're giving you advice. And it's like, so you automatically like strike up those conversations. And when you have that like self-advertisement on, you can easily like, oh, put my number in your phone and you can give me a call, or text me or ask me this question or that question. And it's not always even about real estate, but handing them that card that you have on you, I feel is super helpful and connects you with people really well. So it's kind of like a sneaky way, I guess, to just like not put yourself out there, but like have it on hand so that when you're asked about it, you can easily just hand it over for any reason. So I don't know. I try to find like little ways like that to.
That's that not being a secret agent. Right. And actually when we did this still, like I was PTO president at my kids' school. And so I would do the same thing. Like I'd be like, well, rather than writing my number down, I would just give them my real estate card and be like, here's my cell number. You know what I mean? And without even having necessarily conversations about real estate, right? It's the same. It's just about people making sure that they know what you do. And you're right. It's not always about real estate. It can be about other stuff. But once they like know you and like you and your friends, and like, they're going to recommend you. Debbie asked if I have any basic guidelines of what to look for and or stay away from when looking into joining a group. Just make sure that it's local and that it's with people that share similar interests to you. That's all. Like, just make sure it really truly is stuff that you're interested in. Like, don't fake it. Say hi to your neighbors on walks in their yards when they are walking on nice days. Just start a conversation. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it really is just, it really is just connecting with people and starting conversations. That's all. It's just, having people like and trust you and having you like and trust them. That's all.
I have kind of a sorry, just a funny little short story for people who are like kind of scared to put themselves out there. Because when I first started real estate, I was like, oh my gosh, I was terrified to have a conversation with somebody who knew more than me. I felt like I came across a lot of people in the business who had been in it for like 30, 40, 50 years, and they like wanted you to know that they knew more than you. And I learned that very quickly. And I would just always like take in the information and be really grateful for it, you know, and thank them. And I was in the hair store one day, actually picking up some hair products because I was working both jobs at the time. And this lady comes running in the front door with a, like one of the real estate magazines, you know, and she's got this house pointed in there, and she's asking the gal who works there. And she, you know, was like, oh, do you know where this house is? I'm looking for a good agent and this, that, and the other. And so in my head, I was like, okay, I can do this. Like I worked myself up real quick to like let and be like, oh, hi, I'm an agent. And I totally did. And I was like, oh, hi, you know, like, that's awesome. You're in here. My name's Chelsea. I'm from Keller Williams. And, you know, like if you need any representation, any help, if you have any questions, I'd love to help you. And she literally took one look at me and was like, yeah, no, thanks. And walked right out the hair store. And I stood there for a minute, but I thought, okay, that wasn't so bad. Like that was my first big, like, no, I'm not interested in your help. And I was like, that wasn't so bad. So I always think back to that time, like, okay, your first no, like it never like really feels great, but at least you like put yourself out there to try. And it wasn't so bad being told no, right? So I always just think like, give it a try.
They call it failing forward.
Yeah.
And it just gets you one step closer to your yes. That's interesting. I wonder why she said that though.
I don't know. She literally just kind of like took one look at me and was like, yeah, no, I don't need your help. And like walked out, and I was like, oh, okay, but
that's rude. Right? That's rude. Is there anything else that anybody wants to share? Because I'm sort of like wrapping it up. That's why I said like, this is really just about kind of sharing how I built my business and how I think it's really easy to build yours.
Starting a conversation at the dog park. I have a puppy, so I'm always meeting
What kind of
like the normal people.
What
that
kind
I
of
always
puppy
see.
do you have? Tell me.
He's sleeping on my lap right now. It's a mini Boston Terrier mix.
They're so cute and squishy. Yeah, dog parks are awesome. People love their dogs. They talk about them like they talk like they're like about their kids. You know. And have you found it easy to talk to other people at dog parks?
Yeah, because my dog's insane. So they're either like upset about the situation, or they end up like after a bit going there. You know, he's just super aggressive, but he's little and he's the baby. You know, he's not even one yet. So now they like love him. He's like the king. He's like, yeah, Max is here. You know,
they're not called Boston terrorists for nothing. You know,
exactly. Yeah,
just saying. Animals are great for those of you who love animals. Those are great. There are tons of like dog and cat groups on Facebook, on social media. Rescue people are great. Horsey people. I mean, definitely. And if you love horses, oh my gosh, there are horse farm people who are looking to sell and to buy. This is such a great part of the industry. So if you love like farms and land and horses and stuff, that is such an easy market to tap into because it's a very specific sort of subsection of people. So tell me some things that you've learned about today that were helpful. And if there was nothing helpful, then I guess you could just be quiet and not say anything.
I think for me, my biggest takeaway was celebrate more of my business partners on my media and like on my posting. Cause that, I mean, I don't have a lot of business and transactions yet, but I have great relationships established with the people just from being in the industry for the couple of years before the real estate. So that's, I think, my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And Jeff says, do what you love and work it into your business. Yeah, absolutely. Just be genuinely, authentically yourself and you will attract your tribe. Yeah. What else do you think is takeaways?
I was just actually just briefly looked really quick. I love this not being a secret agent thing. And I just popped on Amazon real quick. You could totally get masks that say, ask me about real estate. And I'm ordering them.
Do it. It's
like,
exactly
that's genius.
right.
Or ask me for my business card. I'm like, everyone's going to see that.
Yes. Don't be a secret agent. Yes. Get your schedule dialed in. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do not work 15 hours a day. You will burn yourself out. Just use the time that you have with intention and commit to it. and do not deviate from it, and make sure in your schedule that you also put in some time for yourself, for your health and wellness as well, whether it's like exercise or yoga or whatever it is, take a walk, whatever it is you like to do. Do not just, you cannot work like 8 hours a day with no kind of time for your mental well-being. Narrow down and master your 3 legs of lead generation and forget about the rest of them. The only time you should ever even think about another leg of lead generation is if you have to, because something isn't working anymore, because you're not enjoying it anymore. Yeah, lead generate. Yeah, there you can't substitute lead generation. You can't get out of it. You have to talk to people. You've got to get people in your database. You have to go out and get out there and do it. You know, and it doesn't matter how you do it. You just need to do it in whatever ways that we just sort of illustrated above. Do a few things well and with intention. Don't try to do all the lead generation areas. This resonates with me as I'm just getting started. I feel jumbled and all over the place right now. I don't know if it was Jeff that said, but like, or maybe not, or I'm not sure if it was Jeff, maybe it was Corin, but just focus on 1 or 2 things. Like just do those things like at a super, super high level. Hyper local groups that speak to me. Yup. Yeah. Kelly Cherry, did you learn anything? I mean, I think you've heard me talk about this a million times. This class was seriously probably boring for you, but was there anything?
No, not boring at all. I actually was lucky enough to sit down with you in person like a month ago and go over all of this stuff as I struggled with where I wanted to be going with my business. And one thing for me, I mean, obviously, I took tons of notes for this. It's all things that I wanted to do that the team I was on was not doing. My team was very call driven, which was not for me. And you know, my business has mostly come from my sphere and leads that were purchased, which I'm no longer doing. So there's a whole nother layer of business that I'm going to be trying to establish this year without that. But you know, one of the things, as you were talking about, I don't have hobbies. I don't go do anything. I really love to be at home, and I'm really an introvert. And so
you like cats, Kelly. You like cats.
I love dogs, actually. The cats. I do love my cat, but I'm a dog person. But when I'm out and about, it's typically for my daughter's sports. So like Chelsea was saying, it's being out with my kid. And one thing that I did with her, she plays 3 different sports. Basketball takes up the most time. And so I sponsored her basketball team. And so I'm actually wearing the sweatshirt right now. My name's on the back of it. It's my former brokerage, but it still has my phone number. So all of the parents and kids are wearing these to all of their games and tournaments, and it has my name on the back. And then one other thing I did was, if any of you go to a lot of sports, the benches suck to sit on. And so I bought, you know, really good seats to sit on, and we put my name and logo on the back and donated them to all the parents on the team. And so
that's a great idea.
For someone who has a kid in 3 different sports, when we're in 2 of which were sitting on benches and inside, all of these parents who are going to multiple sports, multiple days a week, my name is at least there. I haven't really got business from it, but I hope that someday maybe that would work. But I don't have hobbies that I'm out connecting with people for.
Well, and the thing to remember is it's that maybe isn't like, that's not being a secret agent. It maybe not lead generating per se. And even things like farming for you guys at farm, like that can take a long time to come to fruition. I mean, just keep this in mind. Like it can, like it, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that like, I would not rely on like postcards being sent out to your farm as being like a serious form of lead generation on a regular basis. Like it's generally not, that's going to take some time just for people to recognize you and to sort of, and also people need to get like a piece of mail or whatever, or a door knock or more than just once, right? So it's about that consistency, about the farming. Chelsea, let's see. Debbie says, I pretty much love everything you said. I feel like I have permission to not cold call. You know what? Totally. Like there's some people that do cold call so well. And if you're good at it, then do it. But if you're not, then don't. Like, just don't. Like, there's no reason to, just don't do it. Join the introvert Facebook club. Oh my God, my husband should join that. That sounds fun. not feeling overwhelmed, especially with the kids at home, being creative. Oh my gosh, you guys, COVID has opened up this enormously, amazingly creative door for people to do things differently and take it. Like this is the GOAT market, right? It's like the greatest of all time. It literally, there's never been lower inventory ever. There are, and actually, here's the thing, right? It's not that we have the least listings we've ever had. We actually have 30% more listings now than we did at this time last year, right? This is what they were talking about today. It's that the buyers are insane and they are out in droves. And that is what is creating the 0.8 months of market in Portland. So like, you have to realize like there's enormous amounts of opportunities for us out there to go grab your unfair share of this market. And I will tell you, I was on culture leadership last year, and there were a ton of agents that during COVID at the beginning decided that they were not going to be really active in real estate anymore. And there are ways to be very, very active in real estate while still being safe. There are tons of agents that are getting out of the industry, a lot. This is your opportunity to go take your share by doing it in a really, in a way that is still safe and also in a way that is creative. Do you think a double-sided card is a good idea or a terrible idea? You mean like a business card? I don't know. I don't know. Does anybody have opinions on that? I don't have any idea.
I don't see
I
any
just
reason
know
why
that when I
it'd
was
be
gonna,
terrible.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I don't see any reason why it'd be a terrible idea. I mean, you're both things. It's not a lie, so it gets it all done in one go.
As long as it's not too visually like overwhelming, I think it's okay. But
I was gonna say, if you wanted to worry about the cost is all, I designed originally a double-sided business card that was really clean and plain and nice. And then when I went to print it, it was like almost double the cost. And I was like, yeah, no, I can put all that stuff on one side. That
totally. Yeah.
Just starting out, I didn't want to take that risk.
Also keep in mind that right now, a lot of people aren't doing paper, period. They're not doing business cards. They're not doing like, they're not at open houses or at just listings in general. They're not having paper, period. There's a lot less paper. There's not flyers in the flyer boxes. People are a little bit nervous about that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I do think it's important to have business cards, but I certainly would not. Right now, I would say like, just watch your expenses. Do not spend money on things you do not need to spend money on. Seriously. And you do not need to spend money on a lot. Real estate's one of the like the least expensive startup businesses you can like have in like any industry. I'm considering my farm dairy card being double-sided with my real estate cards. Oh yeah, one each side. That's good. How about starting a neighborhood watch and market to this group once a month? So you have to be careful with groups and marketing. Like if it's your own group, I guess you can do whatever you want, but just be careful because there are rules to other groups about what you can promote and sell. So just make sure that you are adhering to those rules if you're not making those rules up yourself.
What do you mean other groups?
In other words, like on my, like I belong to Bethany Creek Falls neighborhood page, where people are just talking about neighborhood stuff or, you know, generally complaining about whatever it is that people in entitled America complain about. And like, we can't sell anything in those groups. Like we can't sell anything. So the way that what I do is I just, if someone's asking for a gutter cleaner, I'm like, this is the gutter cleaner I recommend for all my Martin family real estate clients. I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling them, I'm just telling them.
Oh, so you mean you can't sell the idea that you're a real estate agent?
I'm saying that like, if you can't, like, I can't market to the group.
Got it. Oh, okay.
I can say that like, here's who I recommend as part of my business, but I can't market to the group. Like I can't say that I have a listing in the neighborhood or they don't want sales. Yeah.
The groups are really good at identifying their rules before they let you in or to get in.
There's like a pin, they like pin the rules to it. I would totally, how else you can really find people in general, if you guys are into this, is like the buy nothing groups are awesome for a whole variety of reasons. Like I stage a lot of my own listings, so I get a lot of my staging stuff from buy nothing groups. But again, like you can make friends with these people as well. because oftentimes people that are sort of like eco-friendly and like to sort of, you know, recycle, reuse rather than like buying and throwing things out. These are sort of my folks as well. And so you can meet a lot of cool people that way.
Got it.
I love Buy Nothing. Unrelated, there used to be a really good Russian tea house on the coast that closed. Do you know of any good tea houses that you recommend? Not on the coast, but a few in Portland. There's one in Hillsborough too. Yeah, I mean, and there's actually a couple in Central Oregon too. I don't know any on the coast. I don't. I really am tired of talking. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, my information in the chat. You can feel free to friend me if you like. That's I put in my phone number. I'm going to put in my Facebook page as well. For my business page. And then of course, you know where to find me on Facebook, just on my personal page as well. I'm also going to put in my welcome home book so that you can see what that Facebook page looks like. See, and that's all of my information. So if you guys think of anything or any questions or would like to have future conversations and you're not at Sunset Corridor, then you can come find me because I'm happy to be of service, honestly, to all of you. So, you know, I know it's overwhelming. Try to just like focus on doing one or two things from today and go take your unfair share because that's what we're here for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Hey, it's sunny out. You better get out there and go ski and golf or whatever you do.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I'll go buy a Powerball ticket, actually.
You can't win if you don't play.
That's absolutely my motto. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, you too.